Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father that you name is Yahweh, and his begotten Son Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The Rosh Kodash, the Holy Tongue, and I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a prophecy updates as of February, I mean, not February, March the 2nd, 2026, on this Monday night. You know, as we've been seeing, tensions are really heating up between the pro-Iranian groups, the Israel Defense Force. Now they decided to join in the campaign of the tensions have been heating up, you know, between Iran versus Israel Defense Force. And this is a news article from the Time of Israel. Updates 11 minutes ago. It says a fresh suspected drone infiltration of alerts in the Golden. And keep this in mind, you know, the Israel Defense Force, they've been on high alert, you know, dealing with a multi-front war of tensions been escalated between tensions. You know, tensions might escalate once again like it did previously. Now it's happened once again about, you know, the high tensions heating up between Hezbollah, you know, going against the Israel Defense Force, the pro-Iranian group, going against the Israel Defense Force, and Iran versus Israel as well too. It says fresh drone infiltration alerts in the Golden Heights, because you got Israel Defense Force been having military building up over there in that region. It says after Hezbollah confirmed sending early UAVs. It says 21 minutes ago, the IDF issues a new evacuation warnings in Lebanon ahead of strikes. Because I believe the Israel Defense Force, they had retaliated back in response of the Hezbollah did an airstrike against the Israel Defense Force over there in the Golden Heights and over there in the borders of Israel, which is like the northern part and the southern and central part, and over there in Tel Aviv as well too. It says 38 minutes ago, Saudi Arabia Ministry of Defense says 8 drones intercepted near the Wayada. Right, because most likely the pro-Iranian groups in Iran sent some drones over there to Saudi Arabia. It says J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, said 49 minutes ago from Time of Israel live updates. It says a war aims at changing Iran's mindset so they abandon pursuit of nukes. That's not going to happen. I mean, could you think about it? They're a leader, despite the fact the citizens over there in Iran might not like the ways, you know, their supreme leader was doing, you know, especially with the protesters and stuff like that. But despite the fact all that, but that's still not going to change. I mean, that's still not going to change Iran's mindset, because they're going to continue building up their nuclear capability, even if they got to redevelop it. You know, it's like those negotiations that they had between, you know, the United States and Iran. You know, those indirect talks that I would say it last about 2 or 3 weeks, and then you had the United States they were so demanding. You know, they was kind of so impatient because they were supposed to, before this air strike started between, you know, the Israel Defense Force and the United States, before this had started with this surprising attack. Now, you know, since they've been demanding to have like zero nuclear uranium, but Iran was unwilling to give up that and to give up their nuclear capability, which they're not going to do, you know. So even if they did get hit with those, took those heavy losses, you know, their top leaders, you know, the supreme leader and their top generals, you know, that's still not gonna change Iran's mindset. You know, the leaders of Iran, especially their military armsmen, even though they took some heavy losses, which they did previously and that's recently, that's still not going to change their mindset, because Iran, they're not going to give up. You know, they're going to resist. You know, especially they're not going to let in. They're not going to let up. because they still gonna have that warlike mindset against the United States armies and the Israel Defense Force as well too. And that's why you've been seeing for the past couple of days a huge barrage of missiles hitting over there in those military bases of the United States, stationed soldiers over there and over there in Qatar, over there in Saudi Arabia, over there in Bahrain, and different persons over there in that area, especially over there in Syria and Iraq as well too. So JD Vance got that wrong because Iran, you might as well forget about it. They're not gonna change their mind of pursuing the nukes. They're gonna continue to pursue their nukes. And was that Joel, the third chapter, let the weak sound strong. All right. It's the book of Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, that's what we hear, wars and rumors of wars. Tensions are sparking over there in the Middle East, which is Western Asia. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, Russia versus Ukraine, NATO versus Russia and Belarus. Those are signs that we see in our world today, modern day uptick of wars and rumors of wars. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not trouble for all these things must first come to pass, but it's not yet. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, which goes to Ethnos, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Luke 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth disgressive nations. Right, that's what we're seeing, disgressive nations, with the uptick with the protesters, especially for the past couple of days. You got these Pakistanians, I believe some of them like Shiites, because they fully supported the supreme leader of Iran after he had got unlawful those heavy bomb airstrikes from the campaign of the Israel Defense Force of the United States. They fully supported them. And you've been having embassies, embassies that have been under a threat, under attack. These U.S. embassies in these different parts around the world been under attack. So that's what we call the uproars of people in the world. Like it says in 2nd edition, verse 3. It says, there shall be signs in the sun, like this blood moon that's about to come up over here in the United States. It says, there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars. Right. Yahweh Shai showing us these signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars increasingly. And upon the earth, right, and upon the earth, disgressive nations. That's what we're seeing. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, mighty ruler against mighty ruler, uncertainty among the nations, because we're seeing the famines and pest and plagues right along with it, and the uptick of the uproars people in the world seeing on a day-to-day basis. It's the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Right, so if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Verse 25. And if a house be divided, except the house not stand. Verse 26. And them Satan rise against the self be divided, not stand, but have an end. Right, that's what we're seeing. It says, Netanyahu says attack was needed since Iran was months away for its nuclear program. That's a program immunity. That's not going to stop Iran from renewing their nuclear capability once again. It says 3 minutes ago, at least 2 strikes reported in Beirut, Hezbollah on a radio station said hit. It says oh, that was previously. So I'll go to the different news website. It It says Kuwait accidentally shot down 3 U.S. fighter jets during Iran mission. It says Qatar shoots down 2 Iranian warplanes joining Arab nations against Iran. Yeah, wars and rumors of wars. It says U.S. sending more forces to the Middle East as Iran war widens. This is from the Miami Herald. So this is another sign of wars and rumors of wars heating up once again. As I remember, Donald Trump and his current administration, they were saying that they're going to continue to hit Iran. They're going to continue to use strikes against them right along with the Israel Defense Force. And then Iran and the pro-Iranian groups going to do the same thing as well, too. So I just want to add a side note to that. It says, and I believe Donald Trump was mentioned. He was saying that ground troops is not out there. It's not, it's not out of the picture. It says U.S. Yep, this is from Helene Cooper and Eric Skimmett from the New York Times News, updated March the 2nd, 2026 at 11:23 p.m. And it reads from the Miami Herald. It says U.S. send more forces to the Middle East as Iran war widens. It says General Dan Caney, the chair of the Joint Chief of Staff, said Monday that the U.S. military was bolstering its forces in the Middle East, sending more troops and fighter jets to the region as American war in Iran expands. Try to do all that. That's folly right there. He tries to roll it. Yeah, I'm gonna read that again. It says the General Dan Caney. It says the chair of Joint Chief of Staff, said Monday that the U.S. Military was bolstering its forces in the Middle East, sending more troops as fighter jets to the region as American war in Iran expands. This work just beginning and will continue, King says, adding that when the additional fighter jets arrive in the coming days, the United States will be just about where we want to be in terms of total combat capacity and total combat power. He declining to say whether how big that overall forces will be. It said, but even as King Wars suggested that an extended military campaign, Defense Pete Hegseth, standing beside him at the Pentagon news conference, insisted that this conflict will not spiral into one of the lengthiest engagements have characterized some of the United States in past ventures. I don't know, it might seem like it might be heading that direction. It says this is not Iraq, Hegseth said. This is not endless. The dueling message presented at the Pentagon news conference Monday. Trump administration first since the United States and Israel struck Iran on Saturday, highlighting the quantitatively facing America is marking another war in the Middle East that Trump said Monday could last for 4 to 5 weeks or perhaps far longer. It says Secretary of State Marco Rubio says later in the day that the hardest hit are yet to come. He added that the U.S. military will continue to strike Iran until it has achieved its objectives, including destroying Iran's ballistic missile capabilities. It says, but for the first, Trump officials sent to make the administration case, explaining the reason for attacking Iran was a difficult task, especially after the unaliving of several U.S. service members. The U.S. CENTCOM commander reported that 3 service members were unalive on Sunday. Military officials said that those troops were unalive after the Iran strike on the base housing American troops in Kuwait. On Monday, the military announced that 2 more unalives of troops said that they were recovered from a facility that it was struck during Iran's initial attacks in the region. HEXF indicating also has to address the three American F-15 fighter jets mistakenly shot down by Kuwait early Monday, probably mistaken for Iran drone or missile. It says, I'm aware of the loss of the three U.S. Air Forces F-15Es overnight in the region. Kane said, I am grateful for the safety of the crews, and we know that this was not from hostile enemy fire, as this matter under investigation. I am not commenting further on this. All 6 crew members were safe after the incident, Central Command said in a statement Monday. Administration officials have recently taken repeatedly that experts more expected more American casualties in HEXF and came to pick up that Montreal Monday. War is hell and always will be. Big HEXF says that a graceful nation honors the 4 Americans have lost thus far. King said they expect the United States to take additional losses. So I can read all the rest of that. Yep, so as it says again, U.S. sending more forces to the Middle East as Iran war widens. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, right the Gentiles and the arms of the other nations. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near and come up. Right, let all the men of war draw near and come up. As it says again, U.S. sending more forces. It says U.S. sending more forces to the Middle East as Iran war widens. Yep, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near and come up, right as being gathered over there in Western Asia. Joel 3 verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and plumbing hooks and the spears like the weak sounds strong. Right, the pro-Iranian groups going against the United States armies and the Israel Defense Force and their allies over there throughout that whole region over there in Western Asia. This is Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quicker. So with that, hopefully this prophecy updates was edifying as of March the 2nd, 2026 on this Monday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, or Kadash. And the Heavenly Father, which you name is Yahweh, and his own begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lost Kodash, the Holy Tongue, and I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, to next time, say Shalom.